let's review the code auditor feedback from the Chewing the Fat. I have Anthony Nguyen, and I have Brendan Richards and Matt Wicks on the line, and we've all had a bit of a look through this. Essentially, Anthony did a nice video, and there was a series of questions about posting feedback in Teams. What should we call it? Would we be happy to run it or not? So let's have a look through that. The responses were incredibly positive, even from non-technical people. The rating for the video was a high 4.53. I think that's at the top of any rating we've ever had. Almost everyone, if you add up, did you like the video, or would you be happy just looking through the PowerPoint? That was yes, I like the video, and if you add it up, it's almost everyone. One person, a solitary person, just is happy to read PowerPoint, and that's Mehmet. I think that might be influenced by how much he likes doing done videos. But Brennan made the observation, everybody likes watching a done video, but nobody likes doing it. But that was positive. So we've got some feedback in the channel. You could go and look at that feedback if you like. But there wasn't much. Essentially, we'll just pop open Teams and have a look. And that here we are in the project, currently called Link Auditor, which will probably be renamed. But yeah, there was a little bit of feedback. And Anthony, you probably should answer some of this in more detail. But there was nothing significant. I did make a point here from the feedback to mention that it does work with on-prem code as well. So, because that was kind of missed, because Anthony's demo went into, you know, he's taken a solution, published it to the cloud, and then run the stats on it that way. But you could do it the other way by just having your local server connect to Docker and run it that way. So continuing on, I will. So everybody likes getting a video. The project name, it looks split to CodeAuditor and SSW Auditor. A lot of the others are actually named SSW CodeAuditor. So maybe I should put that in as an option, but I didn't think it was necessary. But a chunk of that 9 goes into that. So it's a bit of a leader that CodeAuditor is, it should be the name. Now I'll just mention on the name, we have the domain codeauditor.com, and we have a lot of Google juice for that name. If we got this SSW Auditor, I don't think the name I don't think the domain is as good as a clear Code Auditor. Look, it's pretty 50-50 actually, but I think we'll run with Code Auditor. The amount of people that like this would be happy to put this command line into their build tool. I was surprised because I actually thought it would be okay, we might do it, but a lot of people said super awesome. 21 people said super awesome, and the rest said seems okay, I'd be happy to do it. And we had a doubter, didn't we, Matt Wicks?
Was that me?
Yeah, that was you. And in terms of internal resources, most priority, obviously, some people fresh reading this said, yeah, finish that. Other people want the daily Scrum because they use that every day. But the people that are really on the money is this zero integration, and you can see most people, even without ever being told that that is top priority, it is the top priority. And Sugar Learning, obviously, that's the one we want to sell, but yeah, they're the competing interests. Matt Goldman gave some interesting feedback in that, why can't you, rather than ask what the top priority is, why can't you rank them in order so that we can just move them up and down? That's true, it's way more accurate, but it's a lot more work for the average person. And I think I'm more interested in finding out what they consider the top priority at the moment is. It's just easier to answer, and it gives us the data we want. All right, so that was pretty good. So let's go through more specifically all these comments. And these comments, we've kind of summarized it over here. So I'll just run through that with you. But basically, most people really liked Anthony's feedback, Anthony's video. The way I'm thinking of it after reading those answers is CodeAuditor is the tool that aggregates others' tools. And every project should be running CodeAuditor just to get those Lighthouse performance stats. Plus, you'll get extras like the HTML best practices. Plus, you'll see your project's improvement over time because we're adding history. If you were to run something like Lighthouse, which is quite easy to run, you won't get any history, so you won't be able to see how your project has been going over the life of, the improvement sprint by sprint by sprint. All right, so in terms of the feedback, some people mentioned jumping onto SonarQube. Now, my issues with SonarQube is, first of all, it's not a common tool, it's not a mainstream tool, and we like mainstream stuff at SSW. It is also, the goal of CodeAuditor is a little bit like WebJet. You think of it like it aggregates all the other tools, and most devs are going to lean towards free tools anyway. So I think that has some legs on it. And I like this bit, and it's kind of more than just code analysis. It's an all-in-one DevOps tool, being an aggregator of tools with performance stats, with best practice stats, and with code analysis stats. Greg Harris said, look, sorry.
Adam, sorry to jump on there. SonarQube is a mainstream product.
It is quite expensive.
It is quite expensive, but it is mainstream in the larger enterprises.
Well, yes, it's mainstream for rich people, and we obviously go to a lot of clients that don't have it. And we're dealing with enterprise all the time. When I say mainstream, I'm thinking NUnit. I'm thinking ReSharper. I'm thinking everybody knows what it is, not just the rich people. So, okay. And our tool is going to be free, so it won't have that. Not only is SonarQube expensive, it's complicated to know how much it costs. And Brendan works on one enterprise site after another. How often do you come and try to get authorization for some tool, Brendan?
Well, that's right. Like I was saying earlier, as a developer, I generally avoid anything I've got to waste time chasing the purchase order for it, because it very rarely pays for itself. But if there's a free tool that I can put together in a couple of hours, I'll do that rather than jump through the hoops of raising a purchase order, having to go, find out who I'm supposed to talk to. So yeah, it's just it's just easier to go with the free stuff. And I know it's less of a risk. You could go to all the effort of evaluating it and finding out it's not what you need, but then you pay for it. And then you've got things like trial periods to worry about. If you're trying it out and you've got 14 days and you get called away for 10 days on a different project, your trial period's gone. You've got to jump through hoops again. So open source is just such a clear gateway for developers. And it's not like I've ever used paid for support and then paid for software. I just read the manual and use it. So yeah, I'll always go with open source first, because I know I can just use it where I need to use it without having to keep track of things like licensing and getting approval.
I think the sticky thing will be that they've got all their history. If they want to, they want to put it in their project just to keep the history going, and then you have the thing that once you put it in the build pipeline, it's just always running. You don't have to, not every time you reinstall Visual Studio or whatever, you've got to get the thing up and running again. Greg Harris mentioned that the fact that you're going to do this and put it in the build pipeline is his #1 feature. Other people said, fantastic work. When I first saw this idea of CodeAuditor, I thought, oh no, but then I saw it was Docker based and I can run a bunch of existing open source tools. That looks good. That was Brendan, actually. Jack said this: This is an excellent idea. I've used all these tools by themselves, but integrating them into the pipeline is awesome. The portal where the user can customize the sensitivity of the tool is a nice touch. I like that the output of the tool was very obvious and it was easy to read in a high level, and you can drill in for more detail. As a company that I know that uses SonarQube, they recently discovered that some of the rules were turned off by default. They'd been using it for months and now the entire code base is being flagged. I think this occurred partially because the output from SonarQube during the build is very vague. Now that's just a by the way point, but I definitely think that if we are able to upload all the scan results all the time and be seeing what other rules people are turning on and off would be quite helpful for people to have an idea. Seeing what other people's performance was, you know, that's going to be quite cool. Now, the bad. We got this feedback from Yuli. I don't think we should build this. We're already doing too much, and there are products out there that do it, which is such as SonarQube. And I think I've given some of them.
It's already built.
Say again?
It's already built.
It's, wow. Okay.
Already built.
I will question that. Then we don't need to put any more resources into that, Anthony, and we can all start using it, right?
Or a little bit.
Just a little bit. Yuli and I have been through this long enough to know that software never finishes, and it sounds like you can get it up and running quick, but as soon as these devs start using it, there'll be so many things we want fixed and other support added. I think you're dreaming if you think it's done. But yes, I think I've given my reasons why I think it has a differentiating point, especially free, working with other tools, keeping a history, etc. So Matt said that he's concerned over this, and I think he shares Yuli's sentiment that, you know, why don't we just use what's out there? Yeah, we don't have, Matt might be right with that, we don't have a great answer to that, because you would think that these tools have already been built, but just jumping onto one of his points about the on-premise story, I've already answered that, but basically there's two options. You can deploy your solution to the cloud, which is easier, and it's how Anthony did it in the video, or you can do it the harder way, which will actually be faster, which is you deploy locally, and on the on-premise server, you connect to Docker and you run it that way. So I think that gives a good summary, and I'm pretty happy with the feedback we all got from everyone, and I feel pretty confident on how we're going to move forward.